you just listen to a young girl who was saying that the Nigerian community here is totally very angry. Like,
was the Ijaw country at the Niger Delta of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He went to several schools to make your academic education at the government college to Delhi and
go gather, destroy their food. With the camp and that other camp, some more camp, don't compensate everybody. But some of them
sometimes. Today's Afro-Cricket will be in the style of J.C. Clark, a poet and writer, and we shall also be very interested in his poem Akmo Dancing.
Some lives are meaningful, some are empty. With too much meaning and riches to offer humankind. After some of these earthly adventures and more, one can still find footprints of the dead lives on the pavements of our contemporary life.
good evening, you're welcome to the program Green Planet.
Africa is home to the Nile and the dwarf crocodile species. The West African dwarf crocodile, which is a smaller and darker species of crocodiles, is threatened in many parts of West Africa, Central Africa, and in Cameroon. African Center for Community and Development caught up with people who poach these creatures for their meat and for their beautiful skins. When the animals are killed, their heads are used for decorations, as trophies, or for traditional medicines. The skin of the animal is used in the making of decorative wrappers by ordinary people and title holders. The skin of these animals is normally salted to prevent attacks from predatory insects and then dried under the sun for preservation. The Limbe Wildlife Center is conserving some dwarf and Nile crocodile species. In African Center for Community and Development, in an earlier documentary, caught up with an animal guide at the center to highlight the plight of crocodiles and the dwarf crocodile in particular.
Good day, and thank you very much for talking to people, places, and events, and to the African Center for Community and Development.
Good day, you're welcome.
What is your name, sir?
I'm Smith Koela Munjam.
Mr. Smith Koela Munjam is going to be talking about crocodiles in today's people, places, and events. Don't go away.
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, what can you tell me about crocodiles, those species?
Yeah. Here in this enclosure we have the Nile crocodile. So before I talk specifically about the Nile crocodile, I'll talk about crocodiles in general. Crocodilians are animals who lived far back in the Mesozoic area alongside with the dinosaurs who are extinct today. They are closely related to members of the family like the alligators, caiman, and gavials. Crocodile, this one is called Nile crocodile because it was found in the river Nile of Egypt, but not that it is endemic only in Egypt. It is found in many other countries in the sub-Saharan Africa, like here in Cameroon. At first, the ancient Egyptians used to believe that the crocodile was the god of the river, and they paid a lot of reverence to the crocodile. Each year, they used to sacrifice a virgin lady to the crocodile for sacrifice as feet to appease the god. But irrespective of and many other countries in Africa, they believe that the crocodile is a water spirit and serves as a messenger that communicates with the people to the supernatural world. irrespective of the fact that crocodilians are having all these reverence and allegiance to the Egyptians, it will be to your greatest dismay that the crocodilians, the Nile crocodile, is extinct in Egypt. It's endangered in some other countries.
Now, what are the main problems? What is the reason for the fact that it's been endangered? Is this a change of habitat or encroachment by modernity? Or
yeah, there are many problems that the crocodile face that causes its decline in population. Firstly, people look at the meat as a delicacy, as an added source of protein, which is very delicious. And there are other people who still kill the crocodile not for the flesh as food, but for the skin to make expensive bags, shoes, and belts. So that's one of the factors. Those are some of the factors that causes its endangerment. Then logging, deforestation, development is another factor. It pushes them away from their natural habitat, so exposing them more to poachers.
Okay, I just noticed that this crocodile is opening its mouth. What is it doing?
Yeah, crocodiles are exothermic animals. Some people used to say ectothermic, meaning that they have various means of regularizing their body temperature. As it opens the mouth like that, it's doing cooling by evaporation because the temperatures are a little bit higher now. That is one of the alternative way of cooling the body temperature. Another option is to submerge itself into the pool of water. But when it feels hot, it comes out and backs the sun.
When it feels cold?
It gets into the when it feels cold, it comes out and backs the sun. When it feels hot, it opens the mouth to get cooling by evaporation, and it submerges itself in the water. And sometimes, when there's too much cold, it can be very active to vibrate the muscles so that heat can be generated.
What do they give crocodiles here as food?
Yeah, crocodiles are strictly carnivorous, meaning that they're flesh eaters. This one in particular, who is 35 years old, eats 3 kilograms of fresh fish or fresh meat in a week because the digestive system is very slow. That can sustain it for 1 week.
And for how long can they live?
In captivity, crocodilians can live, say, 45, 40 years, and in captivity, they can live for up to 80 years. The life expectancy is higher.
And in Cameroon, how many different kind of species of crocodiles can you find?
In Cameroon, we have the Nile crocodile and the dwarf crocodile.
Can you tell me something about their gestation? How long they lay eggs?
Okay. For the crocodile will lay, say, it will lay eggs, 17 to about 25 eggs, and we sleep on the egg for 4 months before hatching. And after hatching, it gives parental care for 1 good year before releasing the babies.
Wow.
It lays the egg on a hole dug around the sandy area, covers the egg to incubate it, and then after hatching, 4 months after hatching, after 4 months of incubating the egg, it hatches the egg and carries the babies with the mouth into the water and take care of the baby for 1 year. And so far, crocodiles are the only reptiles that show parental care. All other reptiles do not show parental care.
I hear crocodiles come back to roost on the banks that they were born. They come back to bring forth new ones on the banks. I don't know whether it's a myth, or can you say something about that? Is that true?
So far, I'll have very little to say about that, but I want to think that they find it always very conducive to inhabit their environment where they were born, because they have some mastery about that environment.
And these dwarf species, what kind of crocodiles are these? What can you tell me about them?
Yeah, these ones are the dwarf crocodiles. They are found mostly in swamps and slow-moving streams and ponds and ditches. Yeah, here in this enclosure we have the dwarf species of crocodiles. They are found mostly in swamps and slow-moving streams. These ones, they cannot get longer than 2 meters. That's why they are small like this bed. As you see them in this size, in the sizes that they are having, they are older than the big Nile crocodile that's there. Because the older one here is 46 years old. Meanwhile, the Nile crocodile is 35 years old. These ones are nocturnal, meaning they are active but in the night, and in the day they sleep. And you can see that from their dark color camouflage, meaning that they are night dwellers in swamp, to give them extra protection and extra advantage over their prey. Irrespective of the mythical reverence people offer to the crocodiles, it does not spare the life of the crocodiles. The crocodilians have been pushed by the cruel hands of humankind to close to extinction. And these ones were not like delicacy as the Nile crocodile used to be to the people, but because of the heavy pressure, poaching pressure on the Nile crocodile that has made them be scarce, people have turned now to the dwarf crocodile for food. So they too, they are getting close to endangerment.
And in terms of the conservation of crocodiles in Cameroon, do you think the policy is effective? Do you think we need more parks and zoos to conserve this species?
I want to think that when we're talking about conservation, well, a park can be good because it looks more natural, but according to Sanctuary Alliance, creating zoos and places where we confine animals will not really be good. The most ideal alternative is to sensitize the public, to make them be aware of the fact that over-poaching or over-pressure on this animal is not good. Normally...
What about giving opportunities to people who depend on these animals, like education or job offers, so that they can get away from hunting these animals?
It's true, those are other options, and some other sustainable developmental projects or other sources that they can develop, sources of development of protein, like mushroom farming and other things. If you can teach them.
Cane rat farming?
Cane rat farming, all those things will help a long way to sustain the endangered species. And then again, it will not be very, very fair for us to permanently stop people from eating what they've been eating, since God made the world like a paradise, a blissful paradise for humankind to feed upon everything and enjoy. The problem here is to sensitize them that we have to eat them, but eat them sustainably in such a manner that they will continue to exist infinitely.
In Africa, there are so many reasons why people eat vipers or bushmeat in general. They are eaten for being rare. They are also eaten for being a delicacy, for traditional medicine, as well as for the fact that it has been a customary practice in many villages over a long period of time. They are also eaten for taste, for potency, as well as in order that others in society can look at the eaters differently, and for their skin.
This is what is used in the making of some bags. Which are very expensive, designer bags.
in Europe and across the world.
Wait, the man no can go boss me better.
In here is the intestine of the snake.
My great.
It's now being cut into the pieces of how it's going to be placed in the pot and cooked.
That's better pepper soup. But that's why for us I always you kill the kind of black snake with many pepper soup. You know.
Do you eat snakes?
Not be the 16. Anyhow.
Twice?
Yeah, short snake. Short black snake.
Is it very nice?
Yeah, nice.
It tastes like what?
Like fish. Like fish. It's like grouper, exactly. Very nice.
How many times have you eaten snakes?
More than 20 times.
Yeah.
This one is even smaller.
You've eaten very big ones.
Big ones. Python.
But are there many pythons in the bush?
Yeah, there are many. But the Buncha area, the Buncha area now, they have mostly they like swampy areas.
Okay. And they deliver a lot of kids, that's what I hear.
Yes. Most people around that.
Or is it true that when you are eating snakes, you are very powerful?
Man, they say eating now the Buncha now. People they get python, all these baby snakes in that area. But they get swampy area and too much.
It's a very big pot of soup that's
a small pot of soup. Cut out some warm.
This justifies the complex aspects that must be put into focus when carrying out conservation activities in the region. It is hoped that conservationists will work closely with organizations that are also aiming to dissuade dependence on wildlife. Thanks for watching People, Places and Events.
Thank you very much. And you just listen to a young girl who was saying that the Nigerian community here is totally very angry. Thank you very much for listening to People, Places from our
President was the Ijo country of the Niger Delta of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He went to several schools to make your academic activities was at government college to Delhi.
Go gather, destroy their food. With the camp. And that other camp, no compensate everybody.
In each generation sometimes. Today our focus will be in the style of J.P. Clark, a poet and writer, and we shall also be very interested in his point Agro dancing.
Some lives are meaningful, some are empty. Lives that are meaningful, with too much meaning and riches to offer humankind. You know, after some of these earthly adventures and more, one can still find footprints of these great lives on the pavements of our contemporary life.
Good evening, you're welcome to the program Green Planet.